On your feet! Get them going!
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Always, always, always double check the shipping address you're shipping to. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. I'm not a prophet. Prophet? That's a new one. I'm not a pastor, priest, rabbi, theologian, particularly intelligent dude. But here I am on the internet, and for some reason you're watching my channel. I am back once again with the book of Job. Yeah, so those of you who are not in the Discord, the reason I am late today is because, as I said, I shipped a package to the wrong address. Thankfully, the guy told me he got a warning, or not a warning, he got a update that his package was being shipped. He's like, that's the wrong state. And I'm like, what? And so, also, if you are paying with PayPal, please update your address information, because oftentimes people like me won't double check the address and will just use the address that's on your PayPal information. And then I have to spend the morning trying to track down and redirect a package, which I can't do. So now it has to be returned to me, and then I have to reship it out again with the hefty insurance price I have set on it. So it's going to be, oh well, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not Job. Dang it. Hold on. I gotta readjust this arm. So that's always a fun thing to wake up and waste my time doing. But customer service is our service. So I'm kind of bummed because I was like, wow, this guy's going to get this package in one day. And then, like, first of all, they lied because it said it was going to deliver tomorrow and it's supposed to deliver today. And I'm just nagging because I should be 50 minutes into this episode, and instead I just started it. Yeah, weird. For some reason, I'm watching. What's up, Drake? What's up, Tina? Devil's Air. Dark Admiral March Hare. And now I'm yawning. I don't know why. I got a good night's sleep. I'm halfway into my coffee. Life is good. It's a little rainy and wet here. It was dumping. Actually, it was like dumping an hour ago when I was supposed to start. And apparently the weather can mess up your YouTube, your internet speed. I didn't know that. I guess that happens to people in states where there's weather. And yeah, so maybe it's for the best. Drake says, why can't everyone just stay where they are? It makes shipping easier. I know. Right? Devil's Air says, mirror, mirror on the wall. Why are we watching this after all? Snow White is coming out in 8 days. Yeah, I saw that. Where was it? AT&T. Hold on. Let me go to AT&T.net. That's where I have my phone, or that, my internet. Oh man, where'd it go? It was like the front page. The big thing said Disney's embroiled in another culture war controversy. And it was about Snow White. And now I can't even find it on their page. What happened to it? Where is it? I just thought it was so funny that the words culture war were on the front page of AT&T's. All right, I'm just going to refresh and see if it changes the big front page. No, it doesn't. Dang it. How weird. Now it's not even showing up. The culture war is now mainstream media news. We're winning. Cross-examinations. The weather is very specific. It only bothers you on days that end with a Y. True. Well, not true in San Diego. Usually days with end with a Y have no problem whatsoever. Tina says, it is beautiful here in Florida with Amy. I'm yawning again. Melissa and I live. It's a gorgeous sunny day today. And then you put a black sun. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Black sun. That's like death. UK premiere also damned down. I just saw something about where was it? It was on that all right, breaking news. Over 494 billion in Russian assets frozen worldwide. Countries have frozen nearly $500 billion in Russian foreign assets, with Belgium leading the list at 254 billion of its most of it private holdings. The fate of these funds remains uncertain as discussions over their potential confiscation or redistribution continue. Ironic. Irony. These countries hate, oh my gosh, the confiscation and redistribution of private funds. Isn't that communism? I'm pretty sure that's communism. The irony of acting like communists towards Russia. Does anyone else find this hysterically ironic, except for the fact that, it might like escalate problems? So this is how Europe wants to deal with this war. They're like, oh yeah, you won't just stop fighting people. We're gonna take all your stuff and redistribute it to who? I bet you they want to give it to Ukraine so they can keep the fight going. Hey! There's not going to be a male Ukrainian left. And there's females. Why do they have women at the front line? Yeah, but it's different when they do it, Mike. Oh, they would love for the U.S. to be a communist country. Oh, yeah. They would. If it was a red sun, would we get superpowers? No, you'd probably get healthier. The red light from the sun is what keeps you, infrared light makes you healthy, keeps you healthy. It's healing and restorative and regenerative. It's the blue light that's not the best. Should I just jump into Job? I feel like without the contentious people here, which does make this a relaxing stream, Chuck. Have you been stuck in the mire of the current drama gate stuff? I mean, I remember I'm above Belgium. It's a 10 minutes drive or 30-minute bike ride away. Really interesting. What's in Belgium? Bruges? What's another city in Belgium? All most Americans know about Belgium is Belgian waffles. And I get the strange feeling they're not actually Belgian. Or Belgian. Is it Belgian waffles? Belgium waffles. I don't know. More mail order Ukrainian brides. Well, look, you wipe out all the men. What are the women going to do? Right? So we were talking about that yesterday, right? You wipe out all the men. See, with that, back in the old days, they didn't have welfare states. Yeah, with Frege. Poor Dan. I totally understand where he is right now because it's where I was in 2019. Yeah, you wipe out all the men and you don't have a welfare state or other countries that are going to come bail you out, the women and children is no good for them, especially back 3,000 years ago. Totally different than it would be today. But boy, what are they going to do? You know what they could do? They could import some Chinese men or send the Ukraine. Because, see, China's been killing their females before birth for, decades. So they have somewhere in the range of 30 million, I think it's 30 million more men than women in China. So 30 million men who will never have a wife. If you just wiped out 30 million Ukrainian males, hey, do a little switcheroo there. Figure it out. Belgium waffles. I think Belgium. Belgium is next to France, and they speak French. Tintin is from there, right? I never read Tintin. Belgian waffles. So it's Belgian waffles from Belgium. If you're from Belgium, are you Belgian? You're Belgian. Are you Belgian? But the M is silent. Inquiring minds want to know. I've tuned most of that stuff out, but I caught a little about it. It's ridiculous stuff. It's just cultish behavior driven by a cult leader. You have a Dutch-speaking part, a French-speaking part of Belgium. Dutch is west and north. France is south and east part of the country. Why don't they just cut? Isn't it like the size of a freaking baseball field? Why don't you just cut Belgium in half and give half of it to Holland or to Netherlands and give the other half to France? There you go. All fixed. Otherwise, they might end up in a war, because that's what happened in Ukraine. You had the Ukraine. What do they speak? Ukrainian? Is Ukrainian a language? And then the other half of the country spoke Russian, and then the Ukrainian speakers hated the Russian speakers, and so they started a war. I don't know this phone number. It's going to happen in Belgium. It's going to be. And then who's who's NATO going to back? The Netherlands or France? Never mind. It won't last long. France will give up. Ukrainian is like Russian, but a little different as I understand it. Right on. All right. You know what? Why don't we, let me grab one of these tabs that I'm not using. Verify identity. Yeah, that didn't work. Oh, and then, gosh, UPS. They have my old email info on there. So I can't use the my UPS account because it's on an email I haven't used in 15 years. And they won't let me delete that account to use a new. Oh, man. I should have, while I was on the phone with the UPS people, I should have had them address that. But I didn't because I'm an idiot. What are you going to do? All right, let's get to Job. Yeah, so without all the contentious atheists, I should do some more atheist streams again. So we get some more atheists in here. But I think I may have scared Rain away by pointing out that a mental illness is a mental illness, and pretending like it's not is kind of a mental illness of its own, isn't it? King James Bible Online. Buddy Rabbit, are you lurking? Job chapter 4 today. Oh, I wonder if Edwin's available. Let's see if Edwin is around. Nope, he's got his moon. His moon is on. I have been in Ukraine many times, and Ukrainians sound like a Russian and Polish mix. Well, because it's between Russia and Poland, right? They were the Cossacks, weren't they? Weren't the was it the It was the Polish, and then the Ukrainians. Didn't they used to be the Cossacks back in the old Taras Bulba days? Is that right, or am I wrong? I think because Ukraine has never been a country; it's been a region up until 1991, right? 1991, Ukraine actually became a country. Before that, it was the Ukraine, which was a region, and the Ukraine was like different. All the little states that are there now, Donbass and whatever, Crimea, and all that stuff. That was like different states. They were socialist states. It was a union, I think, of socialist Soviets. They were called Soviets. A union of socialist Soviet republic. Something like that. Yes, we are squirreling. Leave me alone. Dutch, famous for windmills, tulips, and dikes. Not those dikes. And the Phillips company, the Cossacks were something like land pirates. It's not an ethnicity. Their only rule was to be Orthodox. Oh, really? I just remember. I only know them because of the Taras Bulba movie with Yul Brynner. I used to love that movie. It was Yul Brynner and Tony Curtis. That was a great movie. I mean, the Bible by itself is a wonderful thing to share among people who value it as much as you do. Yes. Be Orthodox. Just don't be Orthodox by the sword. That's not how religion should be spread. The love of God should not be spread at the edge of a sword. I'm watching 1923, and man, the way that the Catholic nuns and priests were treating the indigenous American peoples. And I know it's all true. It was brutal and freaking disgusting. So, yeah. The love of Jesus should be spread by the love of Jesus. I know that's weird and controversial to some people. But, all right. Share screen. Window. There we go. Well, one religion does that, and we all know it still is. I know. I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's like faith shouldn't. The morality of your faith, when it's Christianity or Buddhism or whatever, should guide your moral principles. Right? There's no morality in the Bible. There's no ethical code in the Bible. Not as a Christian that says we should spread our faith by the sword, right? Now, in Islam, it's Sharia law is very much the religious and governmental law that they abide. So their morality or their ethical guideline is that of Sharia law, which is very much faith by the sword, faith by threat, faith by I don't know, not faith, religion by the sword, and kill or convert or force people to pay taxes if they refuse to be converted. That's Sharia. Joe says anybody could be a Cossack, and many were Orthodox people trying to flee Polish conversion by Catholicism by force. Poland has a big hand in the mess that Ukraine is. Good to know. Yeah, I should do some more deep diving into the history of this whole situation, rather than just where we're at now. Yeah, pray for the Christians in the Congo and Syria. Is the Congo stuff, has that been confirmed? Oh yeah, in Syria. okay, the Congo stuff I think has been confirmed. Has the Syrian stuff, has that been confirmed? I know I've heard about it and it's horrible, but I haven't heard that it's been actually confirmed. I pray that it's not true. I pray it's just a rumor, but yeah. I mean, look, you're going to replace the the steel boot on Islam's throat with Islamic fundamentalist terrorists. You're going to get persecution and beheadings and burnings and all that tribulation that the Middle East is so well known for. Yep, I saw news of it today. Again, only on YouTube, no mainstream media. Joe says, I used to practically live between Athens and Alkevsk. Alkevsk? How do you say that last part? Visk. A small city right after Donetsk for 3 years. As we say in Greece, if you see a ship on a mountaintop, it's there because of a woman. What? What does that even mean? I haven't heard for certain yet. Yeah. Syria has gone crazy. The Christians are being exterminated. Many videos online. Thanks, CIA. Yeah. Look. I know what's his face? Wow, now I've totally forgotten his name. The guy that was just ousted from Syria. He was a strong man, but man, so was Saddam Hussein. And I just hearing from the people on the ground, as in the Coptic Christians who live in San Diego now, who escaped from Iraq because Saddam had been toppled. And without Saddam there, the Christians were targets. The Christians were... Saddam was the one with the boot on the neck of the Muslim fundamentalists in Iraq. And yes, apparently his sons were insane. But Saddam was just he was a dictator. He had to be. Same situation with Assad. Right? But you cannot have a weak man in a Muslim majority nation, because you'll get run over, and the fundamentalist Islam, it'll be jihad. Instead of Assad, you get jihad, and that's the way it's gonna go. It's crazy, because you know what, for the longest time I was like, oh, well, we're not going to be anywhere near the end times because Bashar al-Assad is the leader of Syria. And one of the names of the Antichrist is the Syrian, the Assyrian. And I'm like, well, if Bashar al-Assad is not the Antichrist, because fundamentalist Muslims hate him because he's a super, secular, Western educated, dude, this is not the guy to unite all of Islam. Sunni and Shia Islam are not going to unite under Bashar al-Assad. And then he gets booted out, and now Syria, or Assyria, is being taken over by fundamentalist Muslims. So keep an eye out for whoever ends up taking charge in that country now. By the way, these people are part of the very first Christian church being shot down like dogs. Ugh. They need a whole lot of Jesus. Amen. All right, let's read some Job, shall we? Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, if we essay to commune with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking after 7 days, right? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was falling, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. So he's saying that Job was a great leader and encourager and a guy people leaned on. But now it's come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. Now, he's telling Job, well, clearly you did something wrong, son. Even as I have seen, by the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils they are consumed. Here, this is probably not Yahweh because it's not Lord. So this is probably Adonai, or I think there's like, what did Chuck Missler say? There's like, I think 4 or 5 words for God they use in this: Adonai, Jehovah, El Shaddai. Was it El Shaddai? I can't remember, but they're like use all these different words for God. So when it says God here, we only have the one word God, but it's using different versions of it because different names of God, not the proper name Yahweh, but the different names like the Redeemer, the strength of God, words like that. They have different connotations in different parts of, that's why they'll use the different word. But in English, it's just God. Like love, right? Just the one word love. Love is not love. And by the breath of his nostrils, they are consumed. The roaring of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey, and the stout lion's whelps are scattered abroad. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof, in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men. Fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes. There was silence, and I heard a voice saying, Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? So you know how I have in the past gone up about the, God only forgives 2 things: ignorance and repentance. But then we're asked to forgive outside of that, right? Or are we? I mean, it seems like we are, but then right here it says, can mortal man be more just than God? If we're forgiving someone who hasn't repented or done something out of ignorance, are we trying to be more just than God? It's a confusing one to me. I'll be honest with you. Because I don't see how we can be. And I don't see how we could even strive to be. But there are scriptures that say, if you don't forgive, you won't be forgiven. It's like, but are we to forgive as you forgive, Lord? Or are we trying to be more just than you? Because we can't be. We can't be more pure than our Maker. I don't know. That I'm probably going to struggle with that for the rest of my life because I see the baseline, try to be like God. And then this repeats, don't try to be more. You can't be more just than God. You can't be more pure than your Maker. So can you forgive if the object of your forgiveness is not doing something out of ignorance or repentant? I don't know. I only have questions here, kids. Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in the houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are cursed before the moth, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom. Let's read that phrase again. Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants. Meaning God. Behold, God put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust. So he's saying that he doesn't trust his angels. How much less? What? Was this basically saying how much more do humans screw up? Is in the dust which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom. He's talking about us. I'd like to hear Buddy's thought on that. Well, Buddy, who is talking here? Oh, it's Eliphaz. Eliphaz the Temanite. So yeah, he's saying, I mean, the first beginning here is just him talking, but then he says that he had a vision, and then he is speaking from the vision. So I think the vision supposedly is coming from God. And that's again, that was the interesting thing I wanted to point out. These guys are talking about Yahweh, right? With all of his friends and Job, they were all worshipers of Yahweh. When Abraham probably had not yet been called out, it says so in Job that Yahweh, when it says Lord, it's using Yahweh, right? Again, these guys were alive over more than likely with Noah. So, I mean, who knows? They could have not the feet, but learning at the feet of Noah. So, Johnny Torch says Job is probably the most challenging book in the Bible. It's the oldest book. It's very. Am I roboting? Sorry. It's Who said it? There was an author who said that Job is the greatest poem in history, something like that. I was just listening to Chuck Missler. He's got some great insights. It's got how there's a word for it, but there's like words that aren't used in any other book, and some of the books will have like a handful of words. Job has like 130 words that are not used in any other book of the Bible. And it has words that have roots in like Sumerian and like these other languages. Honestly, I don't even know if it was I don't know if it was originally, well, nobody knows probably if it was originally written in Hebrew. I don't think anybody knows who wrote it. Is it possible that Job wrote it after the fact? It's possible. I don't know. Actually, I don't even know where Hebrew came from. But Ur of the Chaldees. I'm not a linguist. I should. Wes Huff would know. Wes Huff would be a good guy to ask about this stuff. Not me. I'm not even going to pretend I know. So, Hello, hello. Your audio was working again. Last night was interesting. Jeez Louise. Why does it always happen on Drawn and Quartered? Like every Wednesday night, my internet decides to go crap-ow. Today's lesson is humans screw up. I'm a failure. You're a failure. You're a failure. We are all failures. Yes. In fact, you said you're a failure twice. So you're a failure just in telling me that I'm a failure. We all fail. That's the human condition. But I think what he was he said at the end of that is that even angels fail. Even angels fail, but how much worse do we fail? Right? Breaking up, at least for me. I know. I think it's okay now, right? I don't see any little bars or anything. Crisscross applesauce. But anyways. Hey! I'll see. Yeah, my internet took a dump for about 5 to 10 minutes while I was on a stream. But he says, just remember, Job's friends are giving him bad advice. That's one of the thrusts of the poem. Yeah. But that's the thing, buddy. What do you think? Because, like, he's giving him bad advice. But then he says, I had a vision, and the vision spoke to me, or the spirit passed before my face, stood still, and I heard a voice saying. So when he says I had heard a voice saying, I would presume that the voice of the vision is from God. Yeah, no, because that's the last part that we were saying. Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth. They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency, which is in them, go away? They die even without wisdom. The problem is the rest of his dream continues into chapter 5, so you're breaking its flow. Shall I read? Shall I break and do multiple chapters in a day? Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Yeah, I just don't think of Lucifer as angel that often, just as the enemy. Well, the word angel is messenger. So literally when Lucifer stops being a messenger, he might still be a seraphim or a cherubim. I don't even know what classification of angelic classification he was. Cherub. No, he was a cherub. Right? I'm pretty sure he was a cherubim. But once he stopped working for God, he's no longer a messenger for God, which would denote that he's no longer an angel. Because that's the job, messenger. Which is, it's weird because the word angel can also apply to people. I can be, if God gave me a message for you, I would be named God. All right, let's go back. And freaking Max just opened the window and the cold just came pouring into my room again. Okay, Max, you may go away now. All right. Cherubim have 8 wings, 6 wings. 2 cover their face, 2 cover their feet, and 2 they fly with. 4 face, 1 human, 1 goat, 1 eagle. I don't remember. 6 wings, not 8. Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? Interesting, they use the word saints all the way back then, huh? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and an envy slayeth the silly one. And envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. Although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I think the euphemism there is that's always. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number, who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. It reads a lot like Psalms, not Psalms, Proverbs. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope in the noonday as in the night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace. And thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, we have searched it, so it is, hear it, and know thou it for thy good. Buddy says, Eliphaz is suggesting the woes on Job are his own doing, so he needs to seek after God. Job is being ridiculed as a sinner who must repent. He's saying Job was righteous, then God would deliver him. The man dwelling in evil, suffering, needs to flee to God. This is all Job's fault. See, I get that from the first part of it, but that's not how I read any of this. It's just very, very much just reads like Proverbs. I could have read any of this in Proverbs. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It reads like. But yeah, the first part, before he has the vision, it seems to me like he's having that very bad. What'd you do wrong, Job? But then he says the vision came, and I don't know. The rest of it doesn't read like that to me. Am I misunderstanding? Because did it read like that to anybody else? He's couching his counsel as rebuke of Job. The man he's referring to in fleeing is Job. In fleeing, which part was fleeing? Craftiness, darkness, daytime. Save the poor from the sword. The poor have hope, and if we suffer no, oh, happy is man, and God correcteth. Therefore, despite the Almighty. Yeah, because see, that's funny. You're right here. Happy is the man, and God correcteth. But like literally, that's probably something taught a dozen times in Scripture, right? So it is what do you say? You're saying it's bad. That part is that's a good general teaching in scripture. Like I literally can't read anything in this second half, or not the second half, but the last 3/4 of his little speech here. After the vision starts, it just sounds like he's saying a lot of stuff that's very, very much stuff God says all the time in the scripture. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But that's how it reads to me. If you're reading it otherwise, then I guess that's fine too, obviously. If they have wings to cover their feet, does that mean they have ankle wings like Namor? No. No. Job should rejoice in God's righteousness, and that will end his suffering because it's his own fault, which is bad advice because we know that Job is called upright and good. Right. But also, God makes a very deliberate point at the beginning of Job that Job's the only one like this. There is none other like this on earth but Job, who is upright and good. So everything else that is being said here, it's not quote unquote bad advice. They're presuming that Job is not unique in all the world, that he's like everybody else, which is a fair presumption to make, right? But God says, no, Job is unique. He's the only perfect upright man in the world. Not even Abraham, who he chose to be the father of the faith, was as perfect and upright as Job. So his other friends, they're wrong, but that's not, I wouldn't say that's necessarily quote unquote bad advice. PC Joseph says, God making a wager with Satan you take as fiction or real? Well, Job is considered to be like an epic poem, but I still think it's true. Whether it's true in the literal sense or true in, I don't know, a more metaphorical sense. I don't even know how to say it, but it's like, I think it likely is true in the literal sense. Right before this, Job is lamenting his birth. The narrative says he did not sin in his mouth. From the outside, they are perceiving a work that must be done to account for his state presently. Right. I agree. Kevin O'Doghair, hello, welcome. What did Andrew say? What did Andrew say that was funny? Oh, the feet. Their perception is that this suffering is because of some sort of sin that he must have committed, and thus he needs to yield to God, which he already does. Job is blameless in this situation. Right. I know. But from, like you said, it's from their perception, because they didn't know that God pointed out Job to Satan and said, look how perfect this guy is. And honestly, they don't live with him, so how are they going to know how perfect he is? Devil's Lair. I don't get Job chapter 5, 16 to 19. That part messes me up. 16 to 19. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Let's look it up in a different version. Bible Gateway. All right, let's go to the... Nope, that's the same thing. Oh, you know what we could do? Let's grok it. Let me summarize. No, let me see. Where's my... Deepest possible meaning of Job 5. What was it? 16 to 19? 16 to 19. Let's see what Grok says when you do a breakdown. So what I use Grok to do is I get the deepest possible meaning approach, where it breaks down the deepest meaning of each word, but then writes it in a way that is still prose. So here is Job 15, 16, and 19 in such a translation. And so, amidst the world's turmoil, hope emerges like a quiet dawn for the poor, those broken, powerless, pressed down by life's weight. Injustice, that gaping mouth of greed and oppression, finds its voice silenced, its jaws shut tight by a power far greater. For the Almighty moves with purpose. He ensnares the cunning in their own twisted schemes, trapping them in the nets they wove with such pride. Their cleverness unravels at the break of day, exposed, impotent, crumbling before the light of truth, and by noon their plans lie shattered, as fleeting as a shadow. Yet from this same hand comes a deeper work. He wounds, but with those wounds he binds up, healing with a tender strength that restores. He strikes, but his hands also mend, shaping brokenness into wholeness. Through countless troubles, sixfold, sevenfold, a storm of calamities, he delivers you, shielding you from ruin. No evil can fasten its grip, no disaster overwhelm, for his rescue is sure, a fortress against the chaos that swirls. I love when doing that with Grok. I had somebody complain because that's not what it says in the text. I'm like, it's the deepest meaning of each word broken down and then read. I think it's deep. I think it's deep. So his friends are just blasting him for it, and Job continually rebukes them until he finally asks God to answer him by the end of the poem. That's how I read it too. But like going through it now, they're wrong, but in the general sense, they're speaking truth. They're just unaware that Job is unique and perfect in the world, because the stuff that he's saying would apply to anybody else on earth. So at this point, they don't realize we have an enemy. That's an interesting thought, Amy. Oh, you mean Satan? All right, I'm going to stop sharing that. At this point, they are insisting he perform works that to have righteous turning from God, to have God come off his throne to fix it. Oh, I thought it was more along the lines of that this was God's rebuking of something, or they're thinking that God is doing this to him to chastise him, to bring him back into right standing. That's how it read to me. Wouldn't God already know who would win a bet? Yeah, but Satan thought he knew better than God. That's kind of the thing with Satan and his pride, right? Yeah, specifically that sixfold, sevenfold is the part I don't get. Why first 6, then 7? Because 7 follows 6. You know, it's like you're saying, man, I told that guy 7, 8 times. Why you wouldn't say 8, 7 times? It's like it's a progression of weight. What is Grok? Grok is cool like that. Grok is the AI on Twitter or X. Or 6 comes before 7. Yeah, PC Joe, that's why I don't understand the point. Satan would know that God knows too, so why the bet? This is the one reason I don't believe in the absolutely all-knowing. Because I don't think Satan believes God. He knows God's real. He knows God's true, but I don't know. He doesn't value God. That's him not putting his faith in God. He doesn't believe God. He thinks he's so arrogant. His pride is so great that it makes him delusional about who God is. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong. I can always be wrong, guys. Buddy Rabbit will try to point it out. Eliphaz's error is that he opens with, "You're good, and all these things you've helped others with happened to you, and now you're whining." I know. They are presuming God's activity in men's wisdom. Yes. Correct. Satan has too much pride to accept he's not on the same level. Yeah, exactly. The idea of rebuking our own righteousness and God coming from his throne to rescue us, that makes me think of our Jesus. Yeah, that was another thing. Is that the first? I'm going to do a real quick word study. Hold on a second. BlueLetterBible.com. I don't see when the first use of the word saint is. Well, clearly the first word to use saint would be in Job, because Job is the earliest book of the Bible. But let's grab. I just want to see what it means because it's only. Hold on. Why is this? Oh, that's the singular. Let me look up saints. Oh, you know what? I can just click on this and then click on the word and see where. It's probably the same word. I'm sure it's the same word. Sacred. Oh, wait, no. Kadosh. Sacred. A saint, the holy one. Sacred, ceremonially or morally, as noun. God by eminence. An angel, a saint, a sanctuary, holy one, saint. All right. Results 108 verses in the Hebrew. Oh, wait, no, it's translated holy most of the time. That's interesting. It's almost always translated holy. But for some reason, it's translated saint in a few times. Sacred, holy, holy one, saint, set apart. I guess saint just a short version of sanctified. Eliphaz is saying only the wicked sin. Why make a bet if you already know who will win? Well, I mean, it's not a wager in the sense of he's going to win something. He's just saying, check out my dude. He's freaking awesome. And then Satan says, oh yeah, we'll take away everything you gave him and he'll curse you to his face. And God says, no, he won't. But try it and you'll see. There's no winning or losing the wager. There's unless you consider it bragging rights, but God wouldn't brag. The righteous do not die and the wicked only suffer. Okay, I don't know how that adds to it. To test the faith, God bets for you. God's monkey against. Oh, God's monkey is Satan. True Torch, he did plan to raise his own throne to the Most High. He must have really thought he'd get by with it. Yeah. Arrogance, pride, all that fun stuff. All right. We're just about there, and I'm running out of gas, so I've never seen it as a bet. Yeah, there's no wager. It's just like, this is going to happen. He says, no, it's not. Go try it. Try it. You'll see. It's more of a, you'll see. It's a metaphor. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here. We'll see you all. I guess I should change this to chapter 4-5. And we'll see you all in the next exciting episode of Cross-Examination.
Back in line! On your feet. Get them going.